McLaren have brought their second major upgrade package of the 2024 Formula 1 season at the Dutch Grand Prix in Zandvoort, with 6 key changes taking place across certain areas of their MCL38 for the event. These include revisions to the front corner, front suspension, the floor edge, the rear corner, the rear ring, and of course finally the beam ring. The Woken Base team have emerged as Red Bull's most consistent challenger, and it sets its sights on launching a bid to beat its Milton Keynes rival to the Constructors' Championship for the 2024 season. And this upgrade package is being introduced to continue the fine-tuning of not only the airflow structures from the front of the car with the front ring and how it interacts all the way to the rear end of the car with the rear ring. But it's essentially a continuation of the fine-tuning efforts that the team have undertaken throughout the 2024 season and just basically further optimizing the package that they have. But having said all that, we're here to see and discuss the actual changes on the MCL38. So without further ado, let's jump in and do that. And to begin with, let's start off with the front end of the car and introduce the brand new front brake scoop on the MCL38. Now, the description that McLaren gave for this new design is all about improving the overall flow conditions downstream, yielding a gain of aerodynamic load without compromising the brake cooling performance of their car. And as you can see from the comparison pictures on screen now of the before and after images of this upgrade, you can see there's quite a significant change with regards to the overall design of their front brake scoop. But it's not just that, it's the actual location of the front brake duct. If you look at the comparison between Spa and Zandvoort, you can see how it's really changed the trajectories downstream of the duct. And this has meant a realignment of the leading edge of this wishbone aerofairing. And essentially, not only has it changed the location in terms of what other positional changes have to be undertaken with regards to the front suspension, but also the amount of room for the airflow to go underneath the actual brake duct itself. So there's quite a change in the actual location as well. And essentially, it's now being modified to complement the beneficial effect downstream. Now we move a lot further back in the MCL38 and we come to one of the more striking differences that of course everybody will be able to see, and that is the revision to the floor edge. Now the floor edge modification improves both local load generation around the floor edge as well as the flow conditioning, improving overall flow performance. Now what is of note with this particular update is that while they haven't changed the overall look and design of their floor edge, as you can see from the comparison images, they're pretty much same. But the major difference is it's the size of the floor supports which are on the leading floor edge, as you can see on screen now, which is highlighted with the yellow arrows. So as you can see, before the upgrade package in Zandvoort, these particular pieces on the floor were extremely large. And now if you compare them to the upgraded version, the size of them have been shrunk quite dramatically. And essentially what this does is, I would say, help improve the airflow in and around this area while maintaining the structural integrity that these stays were creating for the floor. And just like with the front suspension, as we move on to the rear end of the car, that went under revision thanks to the new front brake scoops, they've made further revisions to the rear suspension. And this improves the flow conditioning around the rear corner diffuser and beam ring area. So essentially it's just about cleaning up all the airflow structures and patterns in and around every part of the car where the important areas are. But of course, as we all know, every area is important on a Formula 1 car in the ground effect era. If one area isn't performing in harmony with the other, the flow structures that the air which is traveling through your car is going to be impacted dramatically. And this is what all of these upgrades have been about introducing. It's just making sure that all the areas on this MCL38 are working harmoniously and in tandem with one another to make sure that the improvements that they've seen and gathered through the wind tunnel translates into the real world. Now the final two, if you want to call them changes or upgrades for the MCL38, are not performance related changes, but they're more track specific changes. So McLaren have gone ahead and introduced a higher downforce rear ring and beam ring for the Zandvoort event. And essentially it's about making sure that the overall downforce levels and the ring efficiency are at the kind of levels that they wish to have them at. And not only that, McLaren have brought 2 different rear rings to the event. So I'm sure what we will see as I create this video right now currently is when it comes to FP2, there maybe will be running a back-to-back comparison between the 2 differing rear rings that they have between both of their drivers. And then for FP3 onwards, once they've collected and gathered their data, they will go with the more beneficial rear ring for the rest of the weekend. So yeah, a hugely substantial change has undertaken on the MCL38 for this weekend, and it should, I would hope, bring them quite a leap in performance. I think we would be looking at a region of 1 to 2 tenths as a ballpark for this improvement for the MCL38. Now, of course, what does this do for them in terms of their relative position when it comes to the pecking order and with regards to their competition? Well, I personally believe this should give them a minute advantage of a tenth or 2 over both race conditions and qualifying conditions over their competitors. And I would be highly surprised if they didn't go on to lead not only qualifying through both of their drivers as well as the race. Now, of course, a lot of variables can and do always throw themselves into the mix when it comes to races, and so maybe something happens within the race itself and they do not go on to win. But if we can see a performance leap out of the car with both drivers over their competition, then we can say this upgrade has been a success, and I fully expect to see that happen this weekend. So it's going to be very interesting to watch this all unfold and see what happens. But let me know what you think will happen with regards to this weekend and this huge upgrade package McLaren have introduced for it. And everyone, I'm going to wrap up the video here. I hope you've all enjoyed it. If you have, do of course leave a like and share this video across all the social media and platforms, as it does help the channel as well as this video in particular. If you're new and have enjoyed the content, do subscribe to the channel as well and turn on notifications for further Formula 1 videos across the entire 2024 season. Right everyone, I'll catch you all later in a new Formula 1 video very soon.